This is the Samyang 100mm 2.8 macro. Let's check it out. At around 770 grams, it's not particularly light. It's got a bit of weight to it, which is actually very handy when shooting this particular lens. Obviously offering telephoto portraits, but most importantly, sweet one-to-one macro. I mean, look at the size of that. You can tell it's basically an adapted DSLR lens. So imagine you've bought yourself a nice vintage lens, you've whacked an adapter on, and that gets you to your X mount. It's a nice feeling bit of kit for what it's worth. It looks the part, it doesn't look cheap. This is put out as a budget macro lens, but I think once you get to grips with it, you'll see that it's no slouch at all. We've got this nice clicky, even 2.8 to 32 aperture ring right there. You got the red ring there that denotes this is one of Samyang's premium lenses. You've got a nice, well dampened, not too heavy, not too light focusing ring there. One-to-one, right round to a closest focusing 30 centimeters, which, considering it's a 100mm lens, times 1.5 for your Fujifilm crop factor, and that gets you a decent bit of distance. The filter size for this is 67mm, so bear that in mind if you're using filters. Now, if you're shooting macro, obviously you're gonna want to stop down. I do tend to shoot wide open a lot, so I always have to remind myself to get this thing on a tripod or monopod, as I did for this one. Stop down. You know, if you want to play around 8, 11, f14, as you'll see from the samples, 2.8 is often too wide open for your macro shots. That's just macro 101. But anyway, this lens feels the part, it's solid. What we want to do now is get it on a body. So let's grab the T3, line up the dots, and it's in. Now, aperture is, as they call it, the old-fashioned way, but I actually much prefer this method personally, so that's not a big deal. I'll stick this in manual and just have a bit of fun, and hopefully I can share some examples with you. But let's see how we get on. But I will be inviting you to leave your links to your galleries with this lens and your Fuji Bodies in the comments below. This is definitely a nice lens. When you shoot at the telephoto end, even wide open, things are pretty sharp across the frame, of course, especially in the center. As you stop down, it gets nicer. It's very usable for those further distance portrait shots. But then the killer feature, the macro, when you stop down, say I was looking at around f11, f16, and it was real nice, real sharp. The one-to-one is true. It works just as you'd expect it. It feels good. It shoots well. It's well balanced. In this case with the T3, very well balanced. I'm sure you could use it on a smaller bodies like the XE3, XE2, etc. But you know, you're going to be handling it correctly for sure. And if you're shooting macro, you're going to be putting it on a tripod anyway, so that's not a big deal at all. It's a fine complement to your kit bag if you're a macro shooter that also likes to shoot telephoto and doesn't mind shooting in manual. It's another winner from Samyang. Is it on the level of the 12mm f2.8? I'll leave that for you to decide. Let us know if you have any other recommendations for macro lenses for the Fuji gear. Remember that 60mm is not a true macro. Yes, I own it and I love it, but this definitely trumps it. I'll leave a link to this below. Make sure you click that and check it out, and let us know if you buy it, and then we'll be waiting to see your galleries. Subscribe, stay tuned and get involved. Thanks for watching.